hello everybody, and welcome to the IV. The vibes out here are going crazy. We're going ham. Long time no see, we are back from Florida, baby. I turned up the gain on this a little bit, so it sounds a little bit more tingly, but that also, in return, amplifies the sounds around me, so, if it starts to get a little bit too annoying, which it kind of already is, so I might, yeah, that's a little bit better. I'll keep it like that for this video. I'll probably make it a little bit more tingly in the next video, but today I have another shoe review, and I wanted to contrast, like Nike Dunks compared to Air Jordan Lows, so, which I know I had a video in the past where I got them confused and automatically assumed that the Jordan 1 Lows were Dunks because everybody and their mom had always told me that's what Dunks were, which clearly the people I've talked to are wrong. But so we got obviously the ones. Now I have worn these, I don't even know, countless times at this point. These are like my go-to shoe right now. And, you know, let me say this right now, first and foremost, I'm sort of a shoe guy. I really appreciate, you know, the lows. I really love lows. There's certain high tops that I really like. But when it comes to shoes, you're gonna wear them. You're gonna wear them out. If you're spending $400 on a pair of shoes, why are you wearing them? They should literally just be a display shoe. That's why I love Jordan 1s. Now why I'm loving the Dunks, and that's because they're so affordable. Like, they're like affordable cool shoes. You're not able to find cool shoes like Dunks or Jordan Lows, Jordan 1s, you know, for under $200. Like the cool colorways for the Jordan 1 high tops are like $350. But if you get those same colorways in Lows, it's like $125 to $150. These right here were $125. Actually, they were like $100 because they were on sale. But I do not put grease guards in any of my shoes because I wear these shoes. I wear them. Grease guards are some of the most uncomfortable products on the planet. I will never in my entire life ever put them in a pair of shoes. That's why I'm really a big fan of the Jordan 11s, because you don't need grease guards with those shoes, and why I'm so willing to actually put down some money on those shoes, because they last and they don't grease. So that's like my biggest, I would say that's my favorite. But yeah, recently, so wearing these for like a couple months now, absolutely love it. I've had these since April, and they go with, I wear a lot of red, so like today you can see I'm wearing the Chief shirt, so I'm wearing the red shoes, the red and white shoes. I have a lot of things with red in them, so my fiance picked these out for me, and we're like, yeah, I got a lot of stuff that's gonna go good with that, so I went ahead and got them. Clearly they're a little dirty. I've worn them for months, like I've said, so but here's where I wanted to bring the contrast unit to the table. So these right here, these bad boys, are Jordan Dunks. Now you're like, what the hell is that colorway? Why on earth would you choose those? So this is what we got. So my first choice was more of like a tan sort of color on it with white on it. I can't remember exactly what they called that, but these are the Jordan Dunks. I'm trying to see. Okay, it doesn't say the colorway. I throw away the boxes like within 10 minutes because I see no point in keeping a box. Like, I obviously have Jordan 12 retros and, you know, Jordan 11s. Those you're spending over $200 on. Keep the box, keep them in the box. If you wear them, put them back in the box, kind of keep them from, you know, deteriorating any more than what they should be. But So whatever colorway this is, I have a yellow shirt. It matches perfectly with these shoes. I'm one of those guys that I hear everyone's wearing Dunks. I'm not gonna go buy the Panda Dunks that everyone and their mom is buying, right? So when I go to the store, I'm looking at the Dunks that nobody else is wearing. Not to like make some sort of fashion statement or something, because I'm not one of those people, but I like going against the grain. I hate doing what everybody else is doing. Like when the Air Force Ones came back and started becoming a massive thing with everybody, their mom, I went ahead and did not buy them. And for the boys and girls who like went out during high school and was trying to be so different that they went and bought the all black Air Force Ones and thought they were doing something, you were not doing anything. Those were like some of the dumbest designs. The Air Force Ones though that I purchased were actually Air Force 360s. Now actually it might be 370, something like that. Those are a high top Air Force, and I absolutely love those shoes. They're super comfortable. It's like an Air Max mixed in with an Air Force, and it's pretty dope. I actually have them. I should do a video on those shoes too, but that's how different I am. My favorite Air Force though is this colorway of the Air Forces, whatever colorway. Has all white, and then you either put blue, you can put black, you can put red, and that area of like the swoosh and the outline, I think that goes hard. So I didn't want to go to Snipes and pick out, alright, let me see what kind of dunk you got. Oh, you sell 3 different versions of the Panda. Let me go ahead and buy the Pandas. Absolutely no way, Jose. So I went ahead and got whatever colorway this is, and I think they go crazy hard with the fit that I had on with them. You guys obviously saw the pink polo. I have a yellow Nike shirt. Man, I should get some pink Nike shorts. I really don't mind wearing pink or yellow, like the ugly colors that men should not be wearing. I don't care about any of that stuff. I will wear it. But so the biggest difference, I've worn these 3 days in a row. I have not taken these bad boys off. The biggest difference I automatically saw right away is the Dunks are a million times more comfortable than these bad boys. These are now going to be my daily outside of work, and I hate to say that, but it's the truth, because look at the difference in width. For some of you that don't know, I already said this in my video review on the Jordan 1 lows, was that my feet are very wide. My whole family's feet are wide. Not sure why, but they are. And these give me sort of a, let me just look at the difference. Look at that difference. And you got more height with these too. You get more height with them. Just by, like, it's literally, I'm trying to think here. It's not that much. You get the lips look almost identical. Everything else about these shoes are very identical, and there's nothing that really throws me off other than the backs. That's what really does it for me. How wide this shoe is in general. You can just tell. Like, here, let me do this. You can literally, even with me, I've only worn this pair like 3 days in a row. I've worn these for months, and the back there has no width. Like, it's so tight back there that it's very uncomfortable to slip these on. But this right here, it's thick on the inseam there. This one, not so much. Like, this almost reminds me of like a fan shoe in the back right here, or that lip. If you're not wearing long socks, that lip is just gonna rub and rub and rub on the back of your shin. So it's, back of your foot. So it's really not the greatest in the world. But to me, I haven't really had any comfortable issues, other than my feet are so wide that it's literally reshaping the shoe whenever I wear it. The more I wear them, which sucks because I wish they were wider. I'm a little bit more comfortable. But anybody else, I'm assuming, who doesn't have wide feet, you're doing just fine with the Air Force 1 lows. But if your feet's more wide, like, I also want to preface this, or put this into consideration. I mean, is that these are 10.5, right? US. And these are just a 10, and these fit a million times better than those did. So I think from now on, instead of the Jordan 1s, I will be purchasing Dunks. You will not catch me wearing no Panda Dunks. There was a Dunk colorway though that was like the off, like the what would you call that? Almost like a retro Panda Dunk, where the front of it was all white and the back of it was all black, and that was dope. I almost bought that one, but we were on a budget. I didn't want to spend, even if it was extra $5, it would have rang up an extra 15 with taxes and everything. But so yeah, so this is the Dunk, man. It really reminds me of early 2000s. My dad actually was a big fan of those Adidas shoes back when people used to wear shorts down to their ankles. They would wear those thick, like same thickness of this shoe, a thick Adidas shoe. I can't even remember what those are called, but they're kind of more in style now, and they actually made them skinnier, I guess, to say they're not as thick and they're not bulky. People don't leave the laces untied, but with these you definitely could. This is just like these shoes all around. These shoes all around are just a million times more comfortable. I mean, even 2 days wearing them, 3 days wearing them, you can see the wear and tear already with the creasing. And I do know people really do care about the creasing, but if we're looking at it on a realistic note here, you're buying a pair of shoes to wear a pair of shoes. You're not buying a pair of shoes to be uncomfortable all day long and sit there and complain and moan and hate life, right? So you're wearing these for the right reasons. Then you're not going to put in a grease guard. You're not going to care about the greases. Things are going to grease. Things are going to get dirty. But I am a big advocate on having a shoe cleaner kit. They're cheap at Walmart. Just go get one. And whenever the white kind of fades a little bit, repaint it. If you're getting some mud on there, just clean them off. Back in the day, I used to make the vital mistake of throwing my shoes in the washer whenever they would get dirty, and boy, would you just be hearing this every 2 seconds, and it would just ruin the inseams, the sole of the shoes. It was just bad. But these shoes are a million times more comfortable than the Jordan 1 lows. Jordan 1s in general, I will say that. And I know this is kind of like Nike trying to branch off and almost kind of get away from Air Jordan a little bit with the Dunks, and almost making Air Force One a Jordan 1 shoe mix. And I think they did a really good job with these. One of the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn in my entire life. Granted that it's a low, and the low, I don't think Dunks go high top, but if they do, high tops are always going to be more uncomfortable, so you can't really look at it like, oh, well, the Jordan 1s in general, like, they're high tops aren't really the best, like, feeling in general. I'm just talking about, these are like, even if there was a high top of these, I still feel like these would be more comfortable, because this seam right here is like a cloud. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. When you put your foot in, there's no greasing this back here. It's sturdy enough. It's not gonna bend or nothing. And I just slide my foot right in these things, and I just go. I tied them once, and I probably never have to tie them again. Which is really odd that I see people actually out there who are retying their like Dunks and Jordan 1s, even up to Jordan 4s, because like the newer versions of these shoes, they're slip-onable. That's the way I look at them. And I've never had to retie these, wearing them 4 months now, and I have not had to retie them. Probably will never have to retie these. I've never retied my Air Forces. Never retied. What is my Nike SBs? Those are like those ones right there. Solid, man. I used to Nike SB is almost like a off-brand Air Force One. If you guys haven't had one of them yet, it's like a $60 pair of Air Force Ones. Quality is really not there, but if you're looking for a shoe to kind of mimic an Air Force One and have semi-better colorways, the Nike SB is probably for you. The Nike Colorway, whatever they call it. And I wore them every single day to school, and those things never untied on me. Now my senior year, that's when I kind of was giving a shit about what I look like, fit-wise, and I would go out of my way. I'm wearing different Jordans every day. I'm wearing different types of shoes every day. I'm wearing different pants, because like back in freshman year, I was wearing like the same 2 pairs of Nike joggers on a daily basis, and I know you motherfuckers out there were doing the same thing because like the gray Nike sweatbands and the black Nike sweatbands my freshman year were like the shit. Everybody was wearing them. They were wearing the Air Forces, and they were wearing the Nike backpacks. They were wearing the Jordan t-shirts, and like basically 2K19 and 2K20 were like in everybody's head, and that's just what they were wearing. And I only owned 2 pairs of Nike sweatpants. Now don't get me wrong, they were washed clearly, obviously, before I would wear them, but it's not like I was actually wearing them every single day. It was just more like you would catch me wearing them more times than not. And then somewhere in between like my freshman year, the Nike sweatpants switched over to Champion sweatpants. Like, I don't know what happened, but people were literally wearing Nike sweatpants on a daily basis. Then I come into school one day and everybody and their mother is wearing Champion sweatpants and wearing the Champion shoes and like the whole Champion fit. Like, bro, you were not swaggy. That just looks like a grease trap, like, if we're really talking about it, because I had to hop on the trend a little bit. I went and bought a Champion outfit, which included the Champion sweatpants. And let me just say this right now. The Champion sweatpants has to be the thickest pair of sweatpants I've ever owned in my entire life. That right there was a sweat trap, man. That was just gold in the grease and all the crevices. It was just bad. I can't even believe some of the people who were wearing these things on a daily basis and how bad they stink. And I'm not saying that to like be rude or anything like that. They were obviously just trying to follow a trend, but at what point does that trend need to end for you, my boy? Because I mean, I put them on for like a minimum, or I guess like a maximum. I had literally wore them for probably like altogether all 4 years of high school. I probably wore them like time span of like a month, and obviously not a month straight, but throughout the 4 years I probably wore them for like a month time, and every single time I wore them I instantly regretted it, especially if you wore them close to like spring and all that. Our school was horrible about kicking on that AC when needed, and even with the heat, you'd come into class and be absolutely freezing balls, and there was no shoe, there was no sweatpants, there was no jacket, no coat, no nothing that was gonna save you from falling asleep, because like, I don't know what these teachers thought in their minds, but to give you a little bit more insight on why things were cold was the rooms had their own thermostats. So like the hallways were actually warm and had the heat on, because that's adjustable by the people in the main office, but each room had their own thermostat, so it was based on teacher preference, classroom preference, if the teacher was nice enough to allow the class to adjust it how they wanted to. And what this means was that there was straight up an air conditioner and a heater unit in the ceiling of the room, and it would blow cold or hot air, obviously based on the temperature you set. So each room that I was ever in was ice cold. There were a couple teachers who allowed us to mess with the thermostat and allowed us to be comfortable and learn comfortably, but there were some teachers who were like, fuck them kids, boy, and were just straight up ice cold. Now what they don't know, and what they thought, they thought that leaving the room cold would make us so uncomfortable that we would have to sit there and pay attention. What it really did was make everybody more tired, and make everyone focus on how to get warm because you were like straight up like that in these rooms, and that you would tell the teacher turn it up, and they'd be like, no, you need it cold because you guys keep falling asleep, and this is how we're gonna keep you guys awake. Let me tell you something. Make me comfortable, Miss Ma'am, and we will start learning, because the colder this room gets, the more sleepier I get, the more I'm about to pass out in your classroom when you're trying to teach me history, okay? Turn the damn heat on. But, you know, it never persuaded them. They didn't realize, oh my god, these kids are literally falling asleep because how cold it is in here. Moving on, though, let's get away from all that. So back to the shoes. That was loud. What's the story about how we got them? So, we had bad news, man. We had really bad news. So we went to Pensacola, Florida. For some of you guys who have not been there or who have, to kind of paint a picture, was Pensacola is it's a beach town, right? It's right there on the Gulf Coast, and it's right next to, like, it's really close to PCB, Gulf Breeze. What's another big one down there? Gulf Shores. So it's like really close to a lot of different areas that people like to party, go to swim in the ocean. But Pensacola's looked over in a lot of people's minds because it's basically like a retirement, or you settle down and have a family here because it's so chill, it's so relaxing. It's like damn near if you just picked up a small town in the Midwest and just threw it in Florida. That's how these people are down there. No one really talks to you if you're not talking to them, type of deal. But they have like let me think here. They have it's more like 8 to 10 condo, like, vacation homes that are right there on the beach. Excuse me. And so there is obviously vacationing down there. I'm not saying that there's none, period, but there is vacationing down there. And but I guess my point is that there's a lot more vacationing going on in the surrounding areas, and not as many people are going to Pensacola to go on vacation. A lot of people that we actually met, that we saw, that we interacted with, all already live down there. You go to the mall down there, which is what we had to do, unfortunately. And everybody there just lives there. Like, it's not like no tourist people are like, oh my god, let's go check out the mall. Everybody and their mom that was there, and their sisters, their brother, they all already live there. So like, this is all reoccurring, like a weekend thing for them. And us, it was like once in a lifetime deal. But anyway, so we planned on taking a rental vehicle down there. I'm not gonna say exactly how that process was going on, but basically it fell through. It didn't work out, and then we called a couple other companies. No vehicles available. And we're like, well, shit, this isn't gonna work. I just purchased a 2014 Chevy Silverado LT, 4-wheel drive, 5.3 liter V8 engine. Just the easy stuff, sports edition Z71. So I just dropped a pretty penny on this thing. We're talking about 16 grand here. Obviously used, and it had, like, before we dipped, it had 94,000 miles on it. So we're right at the peak. Like, I just got a really good deal on this thing, because these trucks usually for 150,000 miles on it go for about 25,000 to 20,000 in my area. And I knew the second I saw this thing, when it was posted at, and when I showed up there, I knew I was gonna have to cop this thing, because the miles were so low on it. It had been well maintained, the interior and the exterior. The only thing is that it was in Michigan. This thing was bought through a car auction, out of Michigan. So it had been in Michigan through all the snowstorms and all that, so there was some rust on it. And if you're getting a vehicle like that sort of vehicle, that old, 10 years old, you're gonna expect some rust spots. So I kind of already was like, alright, yeah, that's fine, I already know. When he told me that there wasn't rust on it, I got underneath the vehicle, not like on like the main body, that the stuff that you should be worrying about. But so basically, to kind of put this in perspective, is that this thing's 10 years old, right? It has 94,000 miles on it, so it's getting there into the tune-up stage. It's getting there into the, and they didn't put tires on there, so it's like literally like, once I get this thing registered, I'm gonna have to go get new tires, get a tune-up, get an oil change. Well, actually, they changed the oil there at the dealership, but I'm gonna have to do all this stuff to it. So I was like, all right, we're getting a different vehicle from, like Hertz or something like that, and we're just gonna rent it. We're gonna go up there. We're not even gonna worry about the truck till we get back. Unfortunately for us, everything fell through. We're gonna have to take the truck now, and within like hours of trying to figure everything out, we have to go put new tires on this thing. So we go put new tires, and we're like, all right, I think we should be good for like I like to do a fresh oil change, even if the dealership does it myself, so then I can keep log of how many, thousands of miles, 3,000 miles in my head, or have a company put the piece of paper up there for me. But so in the back of my mind, I wasn't even gonna get worried about any of this stuff until after. So I was like, we have to take it. We put new tires on it, which $1,300. Only set of wheels that we could find with the 8.5 wheel variation, and I guess you have to special order those wheels because they're very hard to come by. But we found a shop that had them, and that's just what they charged, and we were leaving that night, so it's like we literally just had to get them on and just get ready to go. But we got the wheels put on, and obviously in the back of your mind, this is a vehicle almost at 100,000 miles, so you're thinking, well, once it hits 100,000 miles, we're just going to get the tune-up that you need to do every 100,000 miles, and we'll just get all the spark plugs, all that chain when I get back. I already know that's going to be semi-expensive, but where I'm at in my area, it's usually at 1,000 or a little bit below for a tune-up. So I'm like, I can get that money back whenever we get back. Let's just go ahead and leave. So we pack everything up in the truck and we dip. We get all the way. We're almost through Alabama. We are exactly like 11 hours from home driving, and we stopped to switch seats. So she's driving at this point. I started the drive off, and I drove for like 4 or 5 hours. We left at 2 a.m. So you got a picture. I'm like damn near falling asleep the whole way, and she's like, "You're getting a little tired. Let's pull over." And she swaps. And then after her 4 hours or 5 hours, whatever it was, we decided to switch. So we're like literally in the BFE, like we're in nowhere. We pull off into somebody's like driveway, and we switch seats. And I get in and I look down at the dash and I see a check engine light. Now, I've driven vehicles for thousands of miles without even worrying about the check engine light, like to shut it off or anything like that, because most of the time, it's really nothing. It's really not a big deal. Like half the time, it's either a sensor, and like they'll just tell you, like my old truck in my 2005 GMC, that truck had the check engine light for a couple thousand miles, and we finally were like, all right, let's just have it looked at. We had no other issues with the vehicle, so we had it looked at, and it was literally like a sensor. What was it? Like a sensor for like injectors or something weird, and apparently in those trucks it always goes off even if you replace them. So we replaced it, but obviously it hasn't gone off, but I'm sure at some point that same sensor will just keep going off and off and off. But I also had my first vehicle was a Kia, and that thing had the check engine light of the whole year and a half of me owning that vehicle, and nothing was ever even wrong with it. So to me, I've lived with vehicles with check engine lights on, and I've had no worries, no issues. Now, little did I know that my fiance has never had a vehicle with a check engine light on for more than like a couple of days, and always has them fixed or turned off. And she saw that, and I said, "Oh, check engine lights on," and I start driving, and she's like, Googling everything, and she's like, oh my god, the gas cap's falling off, we need to go fix it. So I pull over, I'm like, alright. I tighten the gas cap, I'm like, still there, it's definitely not the gas cap, we're in BFE. I have nowhere to go to check the, like to have a scanner read on it. So we keep driving, and like 20 miles down, she's like, oh, there's an AutoZone like 3 hours from here. And I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, well, you know, we might as well, once we get there, we'll go ahead and check it. Well, once we get out of no man's land for like 2 hours, we finally come up on a small town, and it has an auto body shop. So I'm like, I'm pulling it in, see if they have a scanner. They don't scan. So I'm like, oh my god. But they said there's a Popeyes, and right behind the Popeyes there's an O'Reilly, and O'Reilly saved my life, my man, because I pulled up there, they read the scanner, they showed me that cylinder 8 was misfiring. Now they told me, I'm not like a big engine guy or expert or whatever, but they told me that it's about time for a tune-up. That's exactly what they said. And they said, but for right now, you only need to change 2 spark plugs in cylinder 7 and 8. And she said that if cylinder 7 and 8 are misfiring, you're all good. Your truck doesn't need to run off all 8 cylinders. It can easily run off 6 to 4. But she said once we get down to those 6 and 5 cylinders misfiring, that tune-up is really gonna need to happen, or else you're gonna have some severe damage to your engine. Granted, she's telling me all this, offering me the parts when I have no tools or anything like that, and is offering me, basically, we are 3 hours from our destination still, and she's telling me all this. I'm like, okay, so shit's kinda getting serious here. Which was good that my fiance like really made it a thing to go and get the check engine light like looked at. But we're gonna have to keep driving, so we drove on cylinder 8 misfiring, and 2 spark plugs need to be changed. And then we call a bunch of auto body shops in Pensacola. They're all like turning like, if you're not gonna, basically we're like, look, we're from out of town, we're gonna get the tune up the second we get back into town. And you know, we'll get the full thing. We just need 2 spark plugs changed and the coil on one of the cylinders changed. And basically everybody and their mom was like, this is just a massive waste of time. I am no way in hell are we not gonna do a full tune-up if we're gonna be down there. And changing 1 or 2 of them, that makes no sense. You're just gonna cause all the other ones to misfire, which I know that, but I just needed it to like last me till I got back to pay the $800 here to get it changed. And finally we get one of the like auto body chains down there to be like, yeah, no problem, we'll go ahead and change the 2 and the 1 coil. So we show up, and they were like, actually, you have like 4 cylinders misfiring. What was it like? No, it was cylinder 5, 7, and 8 that were like misfiring. She said, you're really gonna need to change all of them. And we're like, oh my god, like whatever. So we asked how much for a full, like for the change all of them, and she said that it'd basically be a tune-up that they're gonna be performing $1,600. And this is like, we had to drop, what is that? That's three grand, somewhat, like a little over 3 grand. Basically, wait, no, that's like 20, 27, 29, whatever the number is. It was a lot of money to drop, especially while you're like literally on vacation. This money is all saved up for vacation. But we got it all taken care of, and we're able to enjoy the rest of the time there. It just literally like, so our trip was like, what was it? We had six days, and then 2 of them were drive days, so we had 4 days full down there. And one of those days in full was taken away from us because it was my truck was in the shop. Luckily for us though, is that there was a mall directly across the street, and it was a massive mall. We were able to walk around the whole thing a lot of times. And then I ended up getting big boy sunburn over here, which Mackenzie got like so severely sunburned that there's literally like boils and blisters all over her skin because of how bad it got for her. And it really sucks for her, but we had a good time. We're back now. Videos are coming out about the dunks in the mall while waiting on my truck to get done, and I've worn them ever since then. So thank you to Snipes, because these shoes are like, this is a game changer for me. Like, this really is how comfortable they are. They remind me of the old Adidas shoes. But that's basically how the vacation went. We had a blast, other than obviously the truck issues, which the truck is yet to even roll over 100,000 miles, but at least the tune-up is done. So that's off my back. Tires or chains off my back. So I see you guys in the next one, where we are reviewing the truck, which is actually a good time for me to be reviewing it, because I just drove like the truck for 6 days straight, and 2 of those days it was not like shut off, and we were just going the whole way, the whole distance. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.